Hey YouTube, this is So Reaper Kiel, and this is another Infernity deck update. With the release of Stardust Overdrive, I was able to get the other Infernity cards that was released. So most of them are released in the States besides one more, which is Infernity Destroyer. He's a 6-star 2300 attacker, and his effect is when he destroys a monster in battle, and if you have no cards in your hand, it does 800 points worth of burn. So hopefully maybe we'll get that in a Shonen Jump. And I wish that they put 100 Eyes Dragon inside of Hidden Arsenal, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Hopefully they'll also release that in a Shonen Jump magazine and not through one of those stupid subscription things. So yeah, this is the deck for the monsters. One Infernity Dwarf, no cards in your hand, all your monsters get piercing. 2 Beast, when you have no cards in your hand and when he attacks, your opponent cannot activate magics and traps to the end of the battle phase. 3 Necromancers, this was released in Stardust Overdrive. What he does is when he's normal summon, he's switched to defense, and once per turn, if you have no cards in your hand, you can special summon any Infernity monster from your graveyard besides him. Kinda good, being a 2000 defense monster, so it's also a good little wall. And it also helps with swarming. They can also swarm your field pretty fast. 3 Infernity Archfiends. When you have no cards and you draw him, you reveal him to your opponent to special summon him. If he's special summoned in any way while you have no cards in your hands, you get to add an Infernity monster card to your hand. So what I would like to do is I'll special summon him, and if I have an Infernity monster in my graveyard, I'll get the Necromancer, summon him, then special summon another Infernity monster. Most of the time it's the Guardian. 3 Infernity Guardians. When you have no cards in your hand, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so the only real way to get rid of him is by either me tribute him, or you have to bounce it back with cards like Wing Blast or CED. 1 Armageddon Knight. When you normal summon, I like to dump an Infernity monster in my graveyard. 2 gold. 1 Gores. 1 Swift Guardian of Fierce Knight. When he's the only card in my hand, he gets to be summoned without tributing. 1 Earthbound Immortal Kakapaka Po. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I don't know how to pronounce these weird names they gave these cards. I need a field card to even have him on the field, and he can attack directly. Or if I destroy a monster through battle with him, your opponent burns for their attack. 1 Mage Power, says I do a lot of setting of magic and traps. I like this card is actually pretty good. I like to equip it to my Infernity Beast, give him plus 2500. He becomes a 4100 attacker that can attack with no interruptions because your opponent can't activate magical traps. 1 Vortex, Monster Destruction. True Nade, Storm, Spell and Traps. 1 Shrink, 1 Smash, 1 Space, 2 Asylums. This is the field card I use for my Earthbound Immortal or for any of the other tributes I have in my hand, just in case I can't tribute them off. 2 Dark Worlds, ditch a card to pop a face down. 2 Offerings to the Dooms, pop a face up monster, and I can't draw during my next draw phase. Now for traps: 1 Torrential, 1 Wing Blast, 1 Call, 2 Threatening Roars, 2 Bottomless, and 2 Infernity Force. This is another card that was released in Stardust Overdrive. What this does is when my opponent attacks any one of my Infernity monsters, when I have no cards in my hand, I destroy the attacking monster, and I get to special summon any Infernity monster from my graveyard. So yeah, it keeps up with the swarm, or like I get my Guardian back, I special summon my Archfiend to get another Infernity monster to my hand. So yeah, I personally think now with some of these cards, the deck can be somewhat competitive. Maybe if I like tweaked it some more, like add some tuners and some synchros and better traps, I guess, the deck can actually be kind of competitive. So yeah, that was the deck, and pretty soon I'm gonna be doing like my own little thing where I will rant about maybe things like Yu-Gi-Oh and other things in general that needs to be ranted about. I think I'll call it Silent Words Finally Spoken. Like I said, I'll rant about things like maybe the editing of certain card names, the editing of pictures and cards. Almost forgot. Shout out goes out to Spadocia. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He's getting a shout out for giving me the name for my Midnight Virus deck that I showed maybe about last month. And also I'll give a shout out to Jarhead because he also gave me a submission for the name of the deck. So yeah, shout outs to those two guys. Check out their channels, subscribe to them, because we all want to be partners. You know, we all want to make money off making YouTube videos. So this is So Reaper Kyo. This is my Infernity deck update. Peace.